I'm Mark Bailey, along with Dr. Jorge Porras from eStudySite, and today talking about what people jokingly refer to as senior moments. Now, everybody's made the joke. Even my kids will joke, "Oh, Dad, I just had a senior moment." It's not necessarily funny, though, when it really pertains to the elderly.
Right. Well, senior moments is times where people might have a potentially embarrassing situation where they'll forget someone's name that they just met, walk into a room and not remember why they were in there. And we used to think that that was just a part of growing older.
But again, we've all done that,
right,
no matter what age.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean you've got a problem.
Right.
You just aren't concentrating at times, perhaps.
For most people, that may be true.
Okay.
But the reason it's come up in the media is there was a scientist in Chicago who went ahead and did some studies on these very same people, and it turns out that more often than we thought, those folks turned out to have Alzheimer's disease. And that's where this no longer becomes funny and something that's really necessary.
And it's an early indicator.
It can be an early indicator. Like I said, we tend to just kind of brush it off as part of aging, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that.
So what do you do if you or someone you know is having these moments frequently? I mean, how do you approach that?
Well, we look at the most common type of dementia, and that's Alzheimer's type. And when we think about what people are having first is memory problems, then we really have to start investigating other things, such as, do they forget people's names? Do they forget what keys are for? They might lose the keys, but once they get them, do they remember what they're for? And some people may joke a lot to try and cover up those symptoms, but we know those can be very serious symptoms.
So
and
do you test for that?
We can test for that, and the way we test for it is lengthy evaluations and questions, and we often bring in family members because it is family members that can tell us what's really going on at home, because if a person doesn't have a good memory, they may forget to tell you what they forget.
Exactly. Right. That's kind of a real catch-22 in a situation like that. Medications, are we making advancements there?
Well, the disease of Alzheimer's disease is caused by these amyloid plaques that occur. They're like protein clumps in the brain. And now that we're starting to figure out what causes it, now new treatments are coming out on how to prevent it and to change the course of it.
So new things all the time.
New things all the time.
Again, I always go back to this because you're the clinical trials folks.
Right.
Is this something that lends itself to clinical trial study, and should people pursue that and be interested in that?
Yes. Among other ways of treating Alzheimer's disease, of course, there's the Alzheimer's Association, and there are clinical trials throughout the country. And it does lend itself because there are medications that are coming out all the time to help decrease the symptoms and give people hope. Because without hope, you tend to get depressed, and then you have another set of problems.
That's what it's all about, is giving them hope. All right, if you want more information, you go to eStudySite.com, or you call the phone number that has been appearing on your screen. Dr. Jorge Porras, as always, thank you.
Thank you.